Have you ever wondered what secrets lie buried beneath 2,000 years of one of the world's most powerful institutions? Behind the stunning art, the ancient rituals, and the sheer grandeur, there's a history many people never get to hear. Today, we're pulling back the curtain on the dark chapters of the Catholic Church, chapters that shaped our world in ways you might never expect. Before we dive in, let's get one thing straight. The Catholic Church is a massive, complex institution filled with saints, heroes, brilliant thinkers, and martyrs. Its contributions to art, science, and charity are undeniable. But any institution that survives for 2 millennia is bound to have shadows, moments of corruption, intense conflict, and earth-shattering controversy. And these moments didn't just happen. They changed history forever. Let's travel back in time. Imagine a world where questioning authority could cost you your life. This was the reality during the Inquisition, a period that began in the 12th century and lasted for centuries. The Church's mission was to hunt down what it called heresy, beliefs that went against official doctrine. People were accused, sometimes falsely, based on rumors or personal vendettas. They faced interrogation, imprisonment, and, in the most extreme cases, execution. Now, not all trials were brutal spectacles, but many were. And the fear? It was a powerful tool that seeped into the culture of entire nations, stifling free thought and scientific inquiry for generations. The stated goal was to protect the faith. But the big question remains: did it cross the line into controlling thought itself? This era shows how the quest for spiritual purity can sometimes lead to very worldly forms of oppression. Next, let's talk about the Crusades. Were they holy wars, or were they political power plays disguised as religious duty? For nearly 200 years, thousands of knights, soldiers, and commoners marched under the banner of the cross, their goal to reclaim the Holy Land from Muslim rule. But the reality on the ground was far messier than the noble mission preached in Europe. The Crusades were marked by incredible bloodshed, massacres of entire cities, and at times, even Christians attacking other Christians, like the infamous sack of Constantinople. For some participants, it was a genuine act of faith, a pilgrimage of the highest order. For many others, especially the people living in the Middle East, it was a brutal invasion. The Crusades left a legacy of distrust between Christianity and Islam that echoes to this day, a stark reminder of how faith can be weaponized to justify violence on a colossal scale. As we move into the Middle Ages and the Renaissance, the Church's power wasn't just spiritual, it was political and economic. Popes were like kings, commanding armies, making treaties, and controlling vast territories. And wherever you find immense power and wealth, corruption often follows. Some popes lived in lavish palaces, far from the simple, humble life preached in the Gospels. The selling of church offices, a practice known as simony, was rampant. Bribery was common. And most famously, the Church began selling indulgences, pieces of paper that promised to reduce time in purgatory. It all spiraled out of control until one German priest, a man named Martin Luther, had finally had enough. He nailed his 95 Theses to a church door, igniting a fire that became the Protestant Reformation. This wasn't just a theological debate. It was a revolution that fractured Western Christianity forever, a split that still defines the religious landscape today. And that brings us to perhaps the darkest modern chapter: the global sexual abuse crisis. For decades, the voices of victims, mostly children, were ignored, actively silenced, or buried under layers of institutional secrecy. Priests were shuffled from parish to parish, their crimes hidden from the public and from law enforcement. When the truth finally exploded into public view, It shook the Church to its very core. The scandal triggered a painful but necessary reckoning, forcing apologies from the highest levels of the Vatican, the implementation of new protection policies, and a wave of reforms. But for millions of Catholics and non-Catholics alike, the question remains: has enough been done to truly heal the wounds and ensure this never happens again? So, after all of this, the Inquisition, the Crusades, the corruption, the schism, the abuse scandal, how did the Church not collapse? The answer lies not in its leaders, but in its people. For 2,000 years, millions of faithful Catholics, saints and sinners alike, have worked to rebuild it from the inside. Reformers who fought corruption, martyrs who died for their beliefs, missionaries who served the poor, and scholars who challenged injustice. These are the people who challenged the darkness instead of running from it. The real story of the Church, then, isn't just about its shadows. It's about a global human institution constantly wrestling with its own failings. It's a story of sin and redemption, of corruption and reform, playing out on a world stage for 2 millennia. And now the question is yours. Is an institution like this defined by its darkest moments, or by its enduring ability to rise beyond them? Let me know what you think in the comments below. And if you found this journey through history fascinating, don't forget to like this video and subscribe for more deep dives into the stories that shaped our world. Thanks for watching.